Picture this. The endless Australian outback at night, a lone stockman rides past the ruins of an old hotel. Out of nowhere, a glowing orb, the size of a melon, rises from the ground. It follows him, floating silently, as if alive. The faster he rides, the closer it comes, until it's right over his shoulder, and then, just as suddenly, it vanishes into the dark. For more than a century, people across Queensland have sworn these lights are real. Some say they're spirits, others call them illusions, but everyone agrees. Once you've seen a Min Min light, you'll never forget it. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will leave you questioning what's really out there. And hey, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like and share it with your mates. It helps keep these mysteries alive. Far out in Boulia, Western Queensland, the land feels endless. Red earth stretches to the horizon, silence broken only by the wind. It's a place where you can ride for hours and not see another soul. But for locals, that silence hides something else. Something that's been feared, respected and whispered about for generations. They call it the Min Min light. Aboriginal stories describe glowing spirits of the ancestors, wandering protectors of the land. To early European settlers, the lights were omens of danger, or worse. And the first official written account came in 1918, when a stockman reported a glowing ball chasing him across the plains. Since then, the lights have been described as white, green, or even red, flickering, floating, and sometimes pulsing as if breathing. People say they follow cars for kilometers, duck behind hills, or vanish the moment you try to catch them. For scientists, the lights might be mirages, gases, or tricks of the eye. But for those who've seen them, explanations don't come so easy. When you're alone in the middle of nowhere and a ball of light starts chasing you, logic doesn't matter anymore. And that's why the Min Min lights remain one of Australia's strangest mysteries. Tonight we'll dive into the legends, the eyewitness accounts, and the science. And we'll discover why, even in 2025, no one has managed to solve the puzzle. Long before Europeans set foot in Australia, Aboriginal people told stories of strange lights roaming the desert. To the Kalkadoon people, the lights weren't random. They were spirits of elders watching over sacred lands. Elders warned travelers, don't follow them. They'll lead you away from camp into the wilderness, and you may never come back. When settlers arrived, they heard these stories and added their own fears. Imagine a frontier world, rugged cattle stations, endless bush tracks, nights so dark you could barely see your own hand. For lonely stockmen, the sudden appearance of a glowing orb was terrifying. Some thought it was a bad omen. Others swore it meant death was near. Folklore grew quickly. Tales spread of lights that hovered outside homesteads or drifted across graveyards. Old-timers would say, if the Min Min's after you, best not look back. The mystery blurred the line between myth and reality, and what made the lights unforgettable was the way people described them. Like a lantern, but with no one holding it. As bright as a car headlight, only floating. A star that had fallen and begun to chase me. Analogies like these gave shape to the unexplainable. This is where the legend cemented itself. That night, he saw a glowing orb rise from the ground and float towards him. He spurred his horse, but the light kept pace, hovering just behind his shoulder. It followed him for kilometers, until it finally vanished into thin air. In 1937, journalist Bill Bojang had his own encounter. He described driving when a light appeared on the road, looking just like a set of headlights. Thinking it was another vehicle, he slowed, only to realize there was no car. It wasn't just a natural phenomenon anymore. It was woven into culture, warning people of dangers hidden in the outback. And whether through Aboriginal tradition or settler fear, one message stayed constant. Don't chase the lights, because chasing them could mean never coming back. The earliest documented case came in 1918. A stockman named William rode near the burnt-out ruins of the old Min Min Hotel, a place already haunted by stories. The light lifted into the air and began to lead him straight towards a cliff edge. Terrified, Bojang swerved at the last second, saving himself from certain death. He later admitted he'd never been more frightened in his life. Other accounts from the early 20th century describe lights circling cattle camps or floating silently through the night. Drovers told of orbs that seemed to toy with them, moving closer then darting away when chased. One grazier swore the light lit up the mane of his horse so brightly he could see every strand of hair as if it were daytime. These stories gave the Min Min lights credibility. They weren't told by city folk with wild imaginations. They came from tough stockmen, drovers and bushmen who spent their lives outdoors, men used to the natural world. If they said they'd seen something, you could bet they weren't making it up. And that's why, even 100 years later, these testimonies still resonate. They carry the weight of people who lived and died in the harsh outback, leaving behind stories that refuse to fade. Fast forward to recent decades, and the reports haven't slowed down. Tourists passing through Bulia often claim to see glowing lights bouncing across the horizon. Some describe them shifting colors, from white to green to red, as if alive. One truck driver in the 1990s said a light tailed him for nearly 30 kilometers. It weaved behind his trailer, hovered over his cabin, and even appeared in his side mirrors. He pulled over, thinking maybe it was another vehicle's headlights. But when he stopped, the light drifted slowly into the sky, then winked out. In 2003, a farmer named Dan said he and his mates saw multiple lights hovering near their property. They watched as one orb split into two, then rejoined again like living things. His grandfather, an Aboriginal elder, insisted they were spirits protecting the land. Dan didn't argue. "Whatever they are," he said, "they know when you're watching. Even pilots have spotted them. In 2016, a local flyer named Michael reported strange lights keeping pace with his small aircraft. They moved parallel to him, like glowing companions in the night sky, before shooting away at incredible speed. What's striking about these modern reports is how consistent they are with the old ones. Whether it's 1918 or 2016, people describe the same patterns, lights that follow, hover, and vanish without warning. It's as if the phenomenon doesn't age. It adapts to each generation, still defying explanation. And today, with smartphones and cameras, you'd think we'd have hard evidence. But here's the catch. Almost no clear footage exists. Either the lights vanish too quickly, or what's captured looks like distant car headlights. That lack of proof only deepens the mystery and keeps the legend alive. Some stories take the mystery even further, into the realm of danger. In the 1950s, a young couple named Jack and Sarah were traveling near Bulia. They told friends they'd seen strange lights and planned to follow them just for a look. They never returned. Their car was found abandoned, but the couple vanished without a trace. In the 1960s, a prospector named Bill reportedly chased a light across the desert. Weeks later, his equipment was found scattered, but his body never turned up. To locals, it was proof of the old warnings: follow the lights, and you might never come back. Whether these disappearances were the result of harsh outback conditions, foul play, or something stranger, no one can say for sure. But they added a darker edge to the legend. The Min Min lights weren't just oddities anymore. They were hazards. Even today, guides in Bulia warn tourists, enjoy the lights, but don't try to catch them. The desert is unforgiving, and if you stray off track, you might not find your way back. These cautionary tales, passed down through generations, turned the lights from curiosity into threat. And for many, that threat is part of what keeps the mystery alive. Scientists, of course, have tried to crack the puzzle. One explanation is Fata Morgana, a kind of mirage caused by layers of hot and cold air bending light. In the desert, headlights or campfires could appear as floating orbs, far from their actual source. Others point to bioluminescence, tiny organisms glowing in the dark, like fireflies or glowing fungi. But in the outback, fireflies are rare, and the lights are far too large. Some researchers suggest natural gas seeping from the ground could ignite, creating glowing flames. In places with uranium in the soil, radioactive decay might even cause odd glows. Still, no one's managed to reproduce the Min-Min effect in a lab. And here's the sticking point. None of these theories explain why the lights seem to move with purpose, why they follow cars, why they hover for hours, or why they sometimes appear to play with people. One scientist once joked, "The Min-Min lights are like trying to explain a ghost with mathematics. The moment you think you've nailed it, they vanish." That's the challenge. Every explanation makes sense in theory, but when compared with real-life accounts, something doesn't add up. And so the mystery survives, half science, half superstition. For those less interested in science, the paranormal offers plenty of answers. Aboriginal elders still speak of the lights as spirits, guardians of the land, warning travelers to stay respectful. UFO enthusiasts believe the lights are connected to extraterrestrial craft. Their sudden movement, strange colors, and ability to appear and vanish match classic UFO behavior. Others go even further, claiming the lights are interdimensional, portals opening between worlds. To them, the lights aren't just mysterious, they're glimpses into something far bigger. While these ideas may sound far-fetched, they're part of why the Min-Min lights endure. They sit at the crossroads of culture, science, and the supernatural. And that's a place where curiosity thrives. More than a century of sightings. Stories from stockmen, journalists, truck drivers, tourists, and even pilots. Scientific investigations, paranormal theories, and Aboriginal traditions. And yet, the Min-Min lights remain unsolved. That's the beauty of mysteries like this. They connect the past and present, the known and unknown. They remind us that even in a world mapped by satellites and explained by science, there are still corners where the unexplained shines through. For the people of Boulia, the lights are more than just strange orbs. They're part of the land, part of the story of the outback itself, and maybe, just maybe, they're meant to remain a mystery. So what do you reckon? Are the Min-Min lights a trick of the desert air, a natural gas flare, or something beyond science altogether? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if this story gave you chills, do us a favor. Smash that like button, share this video with a mate, and don't forget to subscribe. It helps heaps, and it keeps these stories alive for more people to enjoy. Thanks for sticking around till the end. And remember, next time you're driving through the outback at night, keep an eye on the horizon. You never know when the Min-Min lights might appear.